Where do I begin? Where do I begin, ladies and gentlemen? This was bound to happen. This was bound to happen because losing four in a row last season is a bad look. They needed to win today more than us. They wanted it more than us, and they simply deserved it more than us today. Real Madrid 2, Barca 1. And there is a lot to talk about. There is a lot to talk about in today's video. I actually missed most of the games this weekend. I was away and I couldn't watch a lot of the Prem games, even though there are a couple of really good ones. But I just managed to make it in time to watch Clasico. And unfortunately, I had to sit through 90 minutes of that because that performance, it wasn't it. It wasn't it. If you're new to the channel, like, subscribe, share the video, tell your friends, bring them over. Let's talk about it. Let's talk about who impressed me, who didn't, what went well, what didn't go well. You know how it goes, guys, in these match reviews. Yeah, let's just get into it. Let's just get this out of the way, because the more I delay this, the more I delay the thoughts and the feelings about it, like, might as well just get out of the way. So yeah, leading up to this game, there was so much noise from our end, from Madrid's end, responding to our end. A lot of noise. It felt like, you know what it is? It felt like the old Clasico times. So much noise, so much build-up before the game. And honestly, from a fan's perspective, you kind of like that. You know, it kind of draws you in. There's so much, like, marketed media around the Clasico nowadays, because of, like, you know, the players on each team. We kind of missed that, you know, a couple of years ago. A couple of years ago, there wasn't really too much talk about the Clasico as there is now. But I feel like there is a lot of talk about the Clasico now, because of what happened last season. And for those of you who don't know, Barca had beaten Real Madrid 4 times in a row last season, completely played them at the park in every single game, dominated them in all fronts, and it was a very, very bad look for Real Madrid. And now leading up into this game, there was a lot of noise. There was a lot of noise because of Yamal, a lot of noise because of Laporta and what he said, a lot of noise because of Mbappe and how he performed last season, a lot of noise about Vinny, etc., etc., XYZ. There was a lot of talk, and Real Madrid had to prove a point today. They had to prove a big point today. They had to defend their badge, defend their name, defend their dignity, their pride. And I'm not going to lie, they absolutely did that perfectly today. They did it so well today. And I have to give them credit, as much as it is hard. But I'm an honest fan, you know? Why would I be on YouTube? Why would I be on social media if I wasn't an honest fan? They completely played us out the park today. Tactical brilliance from Xabi Alonso. I thought how he set up the team, which I'll get into, was perfectly executed today. They deserved it. They deserved it. And I'll be real, it says 2-1, but every single one of us know, every Barca fan knows that's watching this video. Don't lie. Don't deny it. It could have been worse. It could have been worse. And it's a common theme. It's a common theme around these Barca games. When we lose or draw, it's not by, like, huge margins. I mean, except for the Sevilla game. In that first half itself, man. Actually, you know, before I get into the first half, I was a little bit disappointed. I was disappointed in Flick's selection of particularly one player, because I knew that he wasn't fully fit, and the amount of times in the last couple of games where we play unfit players, we know how it goes. There is a common theme. We know how it goes. They either get injured again or they don't play very well, and that's exactly what happened today with Ferran Torres. And I'm not gonna scapegoat him. I'm not gonna fully blame him today, because I think that he was left alone on an island, like how Vlahovic was against Real Madrid. There wasn't much for him to do today, and because he didn't get much service. And every time he actually got the ball, he lost it within 3 seconds. So not much he could have done today. But I anticipated and expected that Rashford would actually play as the striker. We'd have Fermin off the left and Casado and De Jong in the pivot, with Pedri as more of like the free roll, you know, free roam 10 type of player. And I think that would have probably better suited our attack, just because of the way we played in that first half. There was no hold-up play. There was no spacing behind. We kind of needed more, you know, control and composure in the midfield. But man, that first half, I think a lot of us fans knew that we were going to concede. It was just about how many we were going to concede and how many chances we were going to concede. And I said it in like my preview TikTok and reel that I made on social media. I said that there are 3 things I wanted. I wanted a lot of chances given to Marcus Rashford, and unfortunately, that wasn't given all game. I wanted Flick to put out a brave lineup, not listen to, you know, any of the noise, go with his tried and trusted lineup. To be fair, he did that. I feel like the execution, the little tweaks here and there could have been a little bit, you know, better. The third thing is that we needed to limit and mitigate Mbappe's chances, but also take our chances on the other end. In order to win this game, our attack needed to be like levels ahead of Real's. Levels ahead. Because we knew they were going to take advantage of our defense. That was the most obvious. Anyone could have predicted that. They were going to absolutely kill us, in balls in behind with Mbappe, etc., etc. They were going to kill us. It was more so on, can our attack do better than theirs? If our attack does better than theirs, it's football. We win the game. But unfortunately, we couldn't. But yeah, that first half was super interesting because Mbappe actually scored, but it was offside. And my God, that finish is unbelievable. How he just hit that first time on the volley from that far out is just like, not many players can do what he did. But yeah, it was called offside marginally. I think it was through his shin pad or toe or something. We got so lucky there, I'll be honest. Insane finish from Mbappe, but it was ruled out. But minutes later, again, same thing. He's able to run in behind freely. I thought Bellingham did so well for that goal, and I'll talk about Bellingham because he had a phenomenal game today. He did so well for that goal. Managed to drift away from Pedri with a little body feint. Played the most outrageous through ball to Mbappe. And Mbappe one-on-one, it's like, in the form he's in right now, you can't give him that much space. You can't. But we knew Mbappe was going to get given space. That was a given. It was like it's like you head into the game knowing something's going to happen 100%, and that is Mbappe getting space in behind with our high line. And look, there's going to be so much noise about the high line now, how it's getting exposed, how it could have been 4-1 today instead of 2-1. There's going to be a lot of noise to it, and I hear it. And I hear it because our defense today was shocking. It was really, really bad. Both goals, the way we conceded them both, should never happen. It was disappointing, and I'm particularly disappointed in two players. Very disappointed in Koundé, and this is a string of games now that he's really just not been impressing me whatsoever. He just looks completely out of it, just not in form, doesn't look like himself last year, takes so many heavy touches, sloppy passes, just isn't defensively resolute anymore as we saw last year. He got absolutely steamrolled today by Vinny, who I'll get to later. Kubarsi as well. This is like the fourth or fifth game in a row now where he just doesn't look like, that golden boy we saw a year and a half ago. Doesn't look too composed on the ball as much. I think it's just more so of a confidence thing in that back line now. It really is. It really is. I think the media has got to that back line so much. There's a lot of noise around it, like I said. And it's annoying because, let's be real. I don't think Flick is going to change this back line anytime soon. At least we don't have any players to change in that back line because our depth is so minimal. And I think this is just some sort of period we have to get through. It's one of those big obstacles that we just kind of have to get through in order to move on and just play forward, because there's still a long way to go this season. And I'll be honest, look, Madrid are 5 points clear now. I couldn't care less. Obviously, it would have been great to go top of the table, don't get me wrong. There is still 7 months left of the season. There is so much time left. We were in a worse situation last year than where we are now. We were, I think, by this point, by November, we were 8 points behind Madrid. 8 points, because we hadn't won a game in a month. Or actually, I think it was December, but we were 8 to 10 points behind Madrid, and we still won the league. So I'm not too worried about the lead, their lead at least, in the table. I'm more worried about just the performance. Because today we looked completely just lackadaisical, didn't put any effort, no passion, none of that. There was no, real grit from the team, no guile, no bite. It's literally mimicking what happened to Madrid last year. Madrid last year didn't really turn up to games. They got, obviously, like I said, they lost so many games to us last season because they just didn't have that confidence. They didn't have that guile to them, that bite to them. They didn't want to turn up. There's no effort shown. And the better team simply won today. The better team that turned up, the better team that showed fight, showed passion, won every single duel. They turned up today. And they taught us a lesson. They taught us a lesson big time. But the better team showed up today. And that's something that I hope a lot of these players go into the changing room now, or dressing room, or home, or whatever. This is the standard. This is the standard we have to put in week in, week out. What Madrid did today. Because that shows fighting for the badge. Not fighting for your personality. Not fighting for bragging rights. You fight for the badge and what you do on the pitch every single day. That's what you're supposed to do in this game today. You're supposed to fight every single time. Because if you stay complacent, if you stay cocky, if you stay, arrogant, bad things are going to happen to you. And that's exactly what happened today. And I'm not speaking for the whole team. I'm speaking for certain individuals on the team, which I'll get to. If we were to go tactically, Xabi Alonso perfectly executed a game plan in terms of he really surprised us. At least he surprised me with the way he used Camavinga and Jude Bellingham today. Because often what you'd see is that Bellingham would just be an all-action midfielder in the middle, getting into tackles, getting stuck in, and he was brilliant, completely took out so many of our like passing lanes or options out because he was just like a running beast, a machine in the middle. I think he won the most duels in the match, if I'm not wrong, or one of the most duels in the match. He was unbelievable today. But yeah, what surprised me is that he'd often drop into the middle and you'd actually see Camavinga out wide because Camavinga would be the one tracking and pressing Balde. Balde was completely nullified today by Camavinga. And Camavinga today was unbelievable. I mean, he was only given a 7.5, but honestly, he was probably one of the best midfielders on the pitch today. The way he tracked Balde, took him out of the game. You know, you'd often see he'd man-mark De Jong, you know, when De Jong would come to receive the ball. He would just be a pest on that right side. Like, every time we kind of broke through or like gained like a couple of yards of space, his ball-winning ability is unbelievable. Truly unbelievable. Him and Tchouaméni both, like, whenever we get the ball, whether it's Pedri or Fermin, in and around the penalty area, you know, looking for the passes in behind the through balls, they were there. Always. Every single time. Tackling, you know, blocking shots. Not that we had that many shots today anyways, but they were always there. And that's what you need in a midfield against, you know, one of the best teams in Europe. You need two people that have insane ball-winning abilities, insane tackling abilities, and they're both athletic as hell. Like, the amount of ground these guys cover is just remarkable. Genuinely remarkable. You need athletic beasts. And honestly, that's what I think Ancelotti actually lacked a lot of last season, is that he kind of misutilized these three. Obviously, Tchouaméni was playing centre-back for a lot of last season, unfortunately, because Tchouaméni isn't looked at as one of, like, Europe's best DMs by others because of, you know, people kind of associate his performances when he plays at centre-back, and that's just not the case, because when he plays consistently as a defensive midfielder, he is, like, been probably one of Real's best players this season, in my opinion, by far. I don't think, like, obviously Mbappe has been very good. Jude, when he's played, obviously without the injuries, he's been very good. But Tchouaméni today just showed why he has that DM spot on lock for years to come. So good. I have to give him credit for that. But yeah, like I said, I think Ancelotti really misutilized the physical presence of Real Madrid's midfield last season. Last season, they were beaten technically every single time by Pedri and De Jong, and they might not be as consistent from a technical aspect, but from a physical aspect, these guys are unbelievable. So good. Like, these guys are running machines all game. They will cover ground like no other midfield. They're really, like, you know, good in that sense. I think Alonso really utilized them perfectly today in terms of their defensive capabilities, but also just being disciplined. Like, these guys stuck to the game plan, stuck to what they had to do, frustrated our midfield, bossed them, bullied them, did everything they did, and that's how they got the win today. And obviously, we saw a lot of that in the first half. I thought Madrid build-up was very good. They beat our press very, very well. You know, they managed to get so much space in behind, which was, again, very annoying. And I think that's primarily due to the fact that Lamine and Rashford never really tracked back. They never, I mean, you'd see Carreras and Valverde just going like grocery runs down the wings, field days down the wings. Like, they never really tracked them, and that's how much they just obviously overloaded Koundé and Balde, and, you know, they got so much space in behind through that. We picked them apart for our goal in the 38th minute. I thought we did very, very well for that goal. Closed down Goulet, kind of made him lose composure. Goulet lost the ball. Rashford plays in Fermin, and it's 1-1. Good finish. Back in the game. And honestly, from that moment, I'm like, okay, we've had not the greatest of starts, but come on, let's go. Let's get back into this. You know, that's what we needed. A slice of luck. That's exactly what we needed. But we just weren't able to build from that. We weren't. We literally made the same sloppy passes, kept playing lazy through balls. It just wasn't working out for us whatsoever. And it was just disappointing. We just weren't able to string any sort of chance together. And it's crazy because this is one of the best attacking teams we saw last season. The most entertaining team on television last season in an attacking point of view. And we weren't able to string more than 3 good chances this whole game. Insane. Genuinely insane. And I think a lot of that disappointment had to do with Yamal today. Yamal, my brother. I love you as a player. I really do, and I still do. I think you are one of the best in the world in your position. I think your ability is second to none. Truly remarkable. But my brother, if you talk the way you do, if you make noise the way you do before a game at 18 years old, and I know you've done it in the past and it's worked out in your favor, but today, what you did and how you performed, if you talk the way you did, and this goes back to my point about how Madrid won on a very professional sense today. They showed up, put in a great performance, did what they had to do, and 11 men walked out of that pitch today victorious because they were professional. They were very professional for those 90 minutes. But Yamal, take notes. I actually rate that you're very confident as a player. You like to, you're a very entertaining player. That's your personality. You're an entertainer. But you have to back it up. You're putting unnecessary pressure on yourself for no reason. You're going into the game and the first thing that comes to your mind is like, I have to impress. I have to impress. Instead of going into that game and just playing football, playing the way you want to play. You're going into that game because you have this persona now that you have to impress people because of social media, because of whatever, Instagram edits. You need to go in and just show up like how you did a year and a half ago when you just wanted to enjoy football with no noise, none of that. That's what we love. That's the Yamal I love. That's the Yamal that everyone fell in love with last year. Put the ego aside. Put the personality aside for a couple games. It can come back. It can come back when you start to turn up. Put it aside. Let me see the old Yamal for a little bit. Because today, I can't defend you. I can't. And I love you as a player. I really do. But yeah, hopefully we can expect a little bit better from Yamal because he got humbled today. He got absolutely humbled today. And I know a lot of people are going to talk about the full-time scenes, how he walked off, what was said between the players, etc. But I don't care about that. I just want to see my star boy be at the very best of his powers again, like how he was last season. And a lot of people are going to give the excuse of him not being fully fit. And it is a true case. He's not fully fit. But if you're not fully fit, don't talk. If you know you're not going to play as good as you are, if you know you're not going to be at the peak of your powers, don't talk. Simple as. But anyways, we had a lot of problems today, and I'm going to look at Flick now. You saw this is like the 4th or 5th consecutive game in a row now, or except for the Olympiacos one, where our backline has looked very shaky. And I know that you don't have too much to work with, but this is the best time to showcase why you're one of the best coaches in the world. Adapt. That's the one word I'm going to use. Adapt. It doesn't hurt to drop the line, especially when we're not playing at our very best, even in build-up, which last season we were so good at. Drop it a little bit. We can use our players. We can use Rashford. We can use Rafinha when he's back. We can use Yamal when he's back to his best on counters. Because remember last season, Bayern, Atleti, Real, the line was dropped. It didn't need to be so high. Drop it a couple yards. It doesn't hurt. And I promise you, I think we will play a much better game. It has been too high unnecessarily for so many big games this season. PSG, Real, Sevilla. It has been way too high for no reason. And I know the second goal has nothing to do with the high line, but I'm saying for future games, it doesn't hurt. It really doesn't hurt to drop it a couple yards because we might have to do a little bit more for build-up, but we're Barca for a reason. We can play out of pressure. We can tiki-taka our way out of anything. Let me see some adaptability, Flick. I love you as a coach and I will back you. I will always back you until I say otherwise. And like I said in the previous video, I'm not saying abandon it. I want us to play with the high line still, but show some adaptability in some sort of way we defend, in the way we build up something. I want to see some changes because it has not been working for like 5 games in a row now. 5 of these important games in a row now. Let me see a little bit of change. And that might be switching out the center backs. That might be bringing in Araujo and Christensen instead. It might be changing the fullbacks. It might be dropping Koundé. That's fine. Let me just see some changes because clearly this back four isn't working. It isn't working. So I'm looking at you and I'm looking at the players. It's just time to regroup, refocus, head down for the rest of the November games with just pure firepower. And look, our injuries have to be mentioned, and it's not an excuse because, let's be real, our attack today would be 10 times better if we had Rafinha and Loa. No doubt. And whoever says no, it wouldn't have changed anything, I disagree because last season they were literally responsible for 50% of our goals. So to say that they aren't important is stupid. These guys, what they bring on and off the ball is incredible. So they would have changed the game in that aspect without a shadow of a doubt. Again, we have to adapt without them. That's just how it is. We move. Now, before I get to Madrid, I want to talk about Pedri as well. Pedri today, and I can't believe I'm actually about to say this, Pedri wasn't good today. Let's be real. Pedri wasn't great today. That has nothing to do with the skill set or quality as a player. Pedri wasn't good today because this guy is so damn tired. You could tell he is so exhausted. He's been overworked, overused. He's been playing 90 minutes week in, week out, given absolutely no rest, whether it's by Flick or by De La Fuente for Spain. We need to just rest this guy. But unfortunately, the way our system is built, it relies on this guy being good every single game. And it goes to show that we have come this far, and we have still played very good games and won and gone over the line in many games because of his performances. And that goes to show how good he is. He wasn't good today, don't get me wrong. He wasn't good today, but he is literally the breathing soul of the system for Barca. And look, this might sound crazy. I'm actually glad that he got a red card today. And it's weird, I know, because Pedri getting a red card is like unheard of, but I'm glad that he gets rest now. He's not going to play for 2 weeks or like a week and a half. He can just get rest. Honestly, that's the number one thing we need before the December schedule comes, because from December to March, with no international break, playing a game every 3 days, Champions League, Copa del Rey, Super Cup, La Liga games, we need this guy at the peak of his ability. So, wasn't good today. He was on the floor, exhausted, bullied off the ball. It just wasn't great. And I'm kind of glad that, again, all this is happening now. Because if this were to happen in February, when we need to win the big games for obviously numerous reasons, we would be in big trouble. But Pedri, man, I love this guy. It's so hard to like talk bad about him. But on to Real Madrid. And I know I talked about Bellingham, Tchouaméni, and Camavinga, but I want to talk about, honestly, like every single player today really turned up. I thought Militao was excellent. Coming back from 2 ACLs and putting in performances like that, like, fair play, man. Fair play. Unbelievable. Huijsen wasn't as good as Militao. I thought he was like decent today. I don't think he was spectacular. Did his job though. Had some good tackles in there. Carreras just locked up Yamal for most of the game. Didn't have too much to worry about in his sense. Going forward, he was again okay, but I thought he just did his job again. I mean, fullbacks defensively, you just want them to do their job, and that's what they did. Valverde was just all over the place, man. This guy was, again, like, you know how I said Camavinga's a pest? This guy was just, like, everywhere. Like, up and down, unlimited, like, stamina, just, like, again, fighting for the badge. That's the common theme with these Real Madrid players today. Professional, fighting for the badge, getting the job done. Fair enough. Vinny was good today. Vinny was very good today. And this is a Vinny performance that reminded me of 23-24 Vinny. Taking your man on, beating him, showing the real reason as to why many football fans fell in love with the way Vinny plays on the pitch. Had that confidence to him, did so much, kept running, tracking back. Like I said before, he had Koundé on toast. He had him on absolute toast today. So fair enough to Vinny. I thought he was excellent. Easily their best attacking threat today on the pitch. I thought he was so good. Goulet was probably I thought he's decent. He's probably the worst of the bunch though. I just think that the way he was employed today wasn't suited to his strength. Obviously, off the ball, it's not his strong suit. He's not obviously great defensively. He's not great from a physical aspect. Going forward, he is very good. But today, he was kind of the odd one out. What's the saying? It's like he was the black sheep in a herd of white sheep. I don't know if that's a saying, but you get what I mean. From a tactical point of view, it wasn't suited to his strength, but he did what he had to do. Got subbed down the 66th minute for fresh legs. Fair enough. And Kylian Mbappe today. Wow. Like I said in the preview, he had a point to prove. He wanted revenge. He came for revenge. He got his revenge. And now he's sleeping well. And it's fully deserved because, yes, he missed a penalty, which, by the way, insane save from Szczesny. Also, a ridiculous call in my opinion, but I don't even want to get into the refereeing today because that's just La Liga and I'm used to it. But Mbappe today, wow. Really, really good today. Cost us just so much trouble. And that's just what he does. He's one of the best, or if not the best player in the world for that reason. Just for what he offers and his impact week in, week out. Unbelievable. Top scorer La Liga, and it's just, it's fully deserved. But this win is really important for Xabi Alonso. It's important because before this game, I said in the Juve game, in the Juve match review, I said that Xabi hasn't turned up with the best version of his Real Madrid this season in the biggest games, whether that be through Atleti, Marseille, Juve. I gave the examples. I mean, after the Atleti test, this was the biggest test of the season. Barcelona at home at the Bernabeu. After last season's, spell of games against us, this was his biggest test, and he delivered. He showed why he's one of the best managers in the world from a tactical point of view, one of the best young managers, up and coming, you can call it, in the world. He showcased why he went unbeaten at Leverkusen, almost won the treble, almost went undefeated for an entire season across all competitions. He showed why he's one of the best in the game today, and I just have to clap because, I mean, to be honest, I never doubted you. I was just saying that I'm just still yet to see your best version of Real Madrid yet, but he delivered today, so fair enough. I have to give plaudits to Xabi, and it's this win for Madrid fans, for Madrid players, and for him was super, super important because now they can look into the rest of the games of the year, knowing that they have beaten their biggest test that's in the back of their heads for the last year and a half. The biggest annoying, team that's been on their mind since last year. And I just got to give it to them. Fair enough. I thought they were so, so good. Yeah, honestly, I don't really have much else to talk about. If I did leave anything out, I also don't want to make this video too long. So if I did leave anything out, please leave a comment below. Like, share, subscribe, guys. Road to 100. I appreciate all the support on all platforms. It's just been fun, to be honest. I love making these videos. So yeah, I appreciate the support. And congrats to Real Madrid fans. You've deserved it today. Barca fans, we will be back. Culers, my brothers and sisters, we're still in this by a country mile. So I'm not too worried just yet. I'm getting worried, though. I can't lie. But I still back us. I have so much confidence. We're going to bounce back because after seeing last season, we can bounce back. So yeah, hope you guys enjoyed. And I will see you guys in the next one. Peace.